We are live.
Here
we have Kate from Factory Floor Jewels. Thanks for joining us, Kate.
Hi, thanks for asking me. It's really nice to be here. A few hundred miles away, but it's nice to be in your shop with you.
Yeah, virtually. Everyone's been in the shop virtually for the last month, and yes, we're all very excited to actually join in, conversations in real life rather than, and touch things and feel things. So that's been really good.
Yeah, fabulous. You've also with social media as well over the gap. It's been fabulous to see you. I feel like I've been in your shop most days with all the lives. Really cool.
I think you still feel like you get to know people, don't you? You know, it's not quite the same as face to face, but hopefully tonight as well, people will get a feel for you and not just see the product, but see, hear a little bit about what your inspiration is and how you came about to be doing what you do.
I've realised I'm much more comfortable talking about that than I am about saying buy my stuff, so that's good. Which is why I mainly sell through wonderful shops like yours. So I don't have to keep going buy this. I can just talk about why I make it, which is good.
Well, we've got people coming on to join us. Lisa, hello, Lisa.
Hi, Lisa.
So, Lisa, you had a conversation with Lisa following us starting to supply your product in our shop.
Lots of conversations with Lisa, actually, yeah, and a really amazing. I hope it's all right to talk about it, Lisa. Really amazing opportunity to make something bespoke for both her and her sister. Should we dive right in and talk about the product type, or?
Yeah. Well, it would be good to actually probably while we're talking about what you're doing for Lisa, maybe to talk about the product. The only thing I wanted to say was, yes, come on. I've posted a little message just to say put your name in the comments if you come on live, because in order to win the special prize, which I'll just show if I can. Oh, this way. Hopefully you can all see that. This is the copper drops, ear wires, and a pendant. So Kate's really kindly donated this as a prize for to thank you for joining tonight. So this will go out. We probably won't get a chance to collate all the names tonight as we're talking, but I'll pull a name out, put all the names in the hat and pull a name out either later or tomorrow. Get someone to help me do it tomorrow and let you know who's won that. So that's brilliant. So there's lots of people coming on. I'm just going to show a few comments. Kate, do you want to talk a little bit about?
So the thing about Lisa is that we share the fact that our dads are both engineers, and hi Rachel. And I would say, I used to say that my dad was a bit of a tinkerer. I suppose that sort of seems like a disservice. He was a professional engineer, sort of time served. He made his own tools, and he went to work in a big factory. He was a packaging engineer and he made boxes. He actually made the machines that made boxes. So he worked for a really big food company. And he was always designing the machines that would make the next kind of packaging for the next product. And so I'm an only child and I'm a girl, and I grew up with my dad sort of showing me things that he was making at home, stuff that he was doing in the shed, his big toolbox, all of that stuff. And then when I got to a certain age, I used to go to work with him on a Saturday morning, and he had this drawing office and with all his instruments in it and stuff, but it was above the factory floor. And so it was, I'd walk through the factory on a Saturday with him very carefully, him making sure I was safe, but there'd be a few people in there making stuff or running a few machines, and I was fascinated by the machines. And then his room his drawing office was above the factory floor with all this glazed partitions looking down. And Lisa got in touch and said that her dad's an engineer, and he's sort of in his 80s or 90s, and he's still doing things. He's still working. I think that's the thing, is that my dad worked till his 70s, and he worked internationally. So after he'd retired, people still needed his skills. And I think that's something that fascinates me at the minute, actually, about the UK, is we've got so many dying skills. We've got so many people, time-served people with hand tool skills that we're just going to lose if we're not careful. And that's why Lisa's dad's still working. That's why my dad was still working into the age he was. And Lisa was just sort of recognised the materials that I was working with that she'd seen in your lovely shop, and asked if I could do something with some of the materials from her dad's workshop. So we're working on that together, which is lovely.
Brilliant. So the material you're talking about is called swarf.
It's called swarf. Yeah, one of my mates goes swarf. Really like the name. It literally is off the factory floor, and I'm actually using a piece of Lisa's because it's easy and well packaged to show you. But if I put it up here, maybe I put my light on here, you maybe see the colours of it a little bit better. So it's literally like this is literally kind of brass sawdust, if that makes sense. And then it comes in all sorts of shapes and colours and sizes. So this is some stainless steel. You can see how that's spiraled. I think this is also stainless steel, but it's actually quite bronze looking in colour. And then you get these blues, and it's the colours are made by the heat that's part of the process. So basically all of this is scrap metal that comes off milling machines. I don't think engineers ever retire, said Linda. No, it's the tinkering thing. Yeah, we'll all be doing it when we're, as we're going out, we'll all be playing. You're an engineer, amazing. Yeah, fabulous. And I come from a design background, so I think I probably should have been an architect. Didn't do it because that was not something that my school gave me an option to look at. But yeah, I'm a bit of a tinkerer and doing that. But yeah, the colours in the materials come from the heat, and that doesn't mean necessarily flame. It could just be the heat through the speed of a tool cutting through the metal, and it comes off in all sorts of weird shapes and colours and stuff. And I'm explaining with it. I'm exploring it, sorry, in terms of how it responds to the things that I do to it. Sometimes I'm losing the colour. I've got some amazing bronze swarf, and when I look at it in the container, it's purple and orange and grey, and then after I've worked with it with the resin, it's just all bronze, which is still nice, but I'm kind of like, how do I keep those colours? So there's a little bit of chemistry involved as well in some of my jewellery.
Is that part of what you enjoy, the exploring, the experimenting?
Yeah, I guess so. My kind of business model is that I sell to shops like yourself, and that's a personal choice that I've decided that I can't, for various reasons, I can't go to a market every weekend. I can't be loading my car up and that kind of stuff. So I have developed a number of ranges that I can produce in a kind of, in batches, if you like, or repeat the process. But all of my designs come from somebody saying to me, hey, do you want this? And I've got a network of people now around the engineering workshops in Liverpool, and around the marina as well, where the boatyard, where people are repairing and building boats, and that's like really big commercial boats, or it's in the port, or it's little boats that people live on or whatever. And people kind of go, I took this out of an engine, I thought you might like it, and hand it me, and then I'll start playing with it. And I've got components that I've had for like years, and it'll be there in the back of my head, and then suddenly the design will come for it and a solution will come for it, and then I'm like, okay, either that's a one-off piece which I will sell at a market, or it's something that I could make a production piece if I can continue to get something like that as a component. So some of the ranges that you sell are brand new components, and some of the ranges that you sell have reclaimed components, if that makes sense. So the nuts that you're wearing, they are reclaimed brass nuts, and I don't highly polish them. I obviously clean them, but I don't polish them because I like the story. I like the patina on them. I like the fact that when you look at one individual nut, it's got lots of different colours in it, and that's something that's built up over probably 10, 15 years in terms of where I get the nuts from. So and then I match them with I like mixing the metals as well, actually. That's something that I love. And the swarf ring, which there I'm wearing, and I know you've got one there. I don't wear gold, but I love wearing the swarf because it's set in silver and it's gold and sparkly and lovely. And
I like that as well, because I do wear a bit of gold and silver, but I really love when you get a piece of jewelry that's got a bit of both in, because you can mix and match with other things you've got. It's quite I don't know, it's just it's neutral, but it kind of works really well with fashion.
And the nuts range, I always say that to people in terms of buying it, that it's a brilliant one to buy as a gift because it does have those mix of tones. It goes with everybody's skin tone. It goes with everybody's hair color. It kind of I guess what you say, yes, about them mixing well with different fabrics and textures and colors as well. So you can wear them at daytime at work, or you can wear them at nighttime. And
that's the hoop earring with the nuts, which is really nice. And it's great.
Silver as well. So I guess so as a jeweler, I probably do prefer to work more in sterling silver, but I guess the market isn't always up for that, and so a lot of my range that's sold through retailers are silver plate. But what I'm trying to do now is just introduce more affordable elements of sterling silver, and particularly in earrings. I think that's quite important.
Yeah, it's really nice. I've got a question here from Katey. How long does it take to make a piece of jewellery?
So that's a weird one, because I guess now, making something that I designed a year or so ago and that I sell in large batches can maybe just take me, I don't know, literally just like 15 minutes, 20 minutes, something like that. But like the one that I'm wearing as well, I mean, it's so weird. We're in this strange system where we're not mirrored, are we? And it feels a bit weird. Me and Jo were discussing how you move your right hand. It's weird. So this piece that I'm wearing here, that I know Jo's got in her shop as well, is all individually. I'll show you. So this is sterling silver, and it's shaped, if you can see, it's shaped to sort of sit across your shoulder joints there. And then on the back, what I've actually done is, these are steel rods, and I've actually welded them together. So not soldered them. So I solder at home in my workshop, but I can't weld at home. So I have to go into somebody else's factory to weld on a Saturday. And then this is stainless steel on the back of it. So that's really complex, and that takes a long time to make, I guess. And I will do it in batches. So I'll make a few of these together, and then I'll do a load of the backs together and put them on. So maybe there's about 1.5 hours to 2 hours work in producing one of those. And then I guess, as I say, something can be on the drawing board for quite a while. So the answer in some cases is it can take years.
The concept to actually creation, it can be very, very long process.
It's quite lengthy, I think. And there's a beautiful range that I did gestate for quite a while. I got given some skeins of bristles. And so basically a brush manufacturer was closing down, and somebody went, "Hey, you're going to love these." And they're kind of like, I don't know, about 2 meters long, and kind of like about this wide, and they're just sealed with cling film. And I've got about 5 different colors. So inside that wrap is just loads and loads of colored bristles. And I've got about 5 different wraps, and I've got a red one and a black one and a lime green one, a bright blue one, and each color's a different thickness. And I knew I kind of had this vision of what I wanted to create, and then I started trying to create it, and it's tricky. And so in answer to how long does that take to make a ring, it's probably never going to take me less than an hour to make that ring, and so that's quite hard to put it into production as such. So at an affordable price, but I'm still intrigued, and I still want to make it faster and make it better and make it something that will sell easily. And
brilliant. Got some comments from some of the people watching. It's lovely to understand the history behind the jewellery. I love the concept of making something from nothing. Linda, the engineer, has also said she used to love welding. It's I think there must be some. It's quite therapeutic, some of these processes.
Say again.
Is it quite therapeutic, some of these processes you have to go through? So
I wouldn't say welding's therapeutic, or for me it's not. I don't think I'll ever get away from the fear of that, to be fair. It's something that relatively scares me, but I'm sure that isn't the same for everybody else. It's interesting, we were talking about, could we do this live from my workshop? And I said, well, I was thinking about it this morning, but really there's just not enough Wi-Fi signal up there. and that's one of the good things about it. So yeah, and it's like, it's a room upstairs and right at the back of my house, and I've actually made it really difficult for anyone to get down the corridor to it. So I've actually kind of like barricaded the corridor. And it is the one thing in my life that is for me and that is on my own and isn't full of noise. So I have a day job, and it's not full time, but it's quite intense. I'm chief exec of a social enterprise. And that social enterprise is about helping communities. And so all of my work there is quite noisy. There's quite a lot of conversation, and there's and it can quite often be discussing quite conflicting things. And so that's quite intense. And then I'm a carer as well. I'm a mother now of a man, but for a while I was a mother of a small boy. So it feels like it's the only thing that I get to do on my own, and that it's just about me, and it's quiet, and yeah, I can sometimes, particularly when I'm creating a new collection or a new piece, I'll just work through the night. I'll be gone, I'll be there, and Steve will kind of be like, yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. I know that that's what you're doing. You're absorbed into that process. And yeah, so it is like that therapeutic. Yeah,
it's when time stands still. You hear about that a lot, the artists and the creative, where they don't have any concept of time because they're so involved in what they're doing.
Solve this, and when that's solved, that will be the time. Yeah. And then I guess the things that are in production that go to my retailers, actually putting them together, because that's quite it's a quite repetitive process for me. If I'm making 10 of one item for somebody, then that's actually quite almost like a mindful experience. Yeah, it's really good.
Excellent. You look great in your earrings. You've got I love the perspex earrings. They're one of my favorites, because I just love the bright colors.
They're great, aren't they? And like when I travel, do you remember that? Yeah. I used to travel a fair bit with my work, and I was always just like, I would pack my jewelry first, and I would just pack like 2 black tops, 2 black pairs, bottoms, trousers, skirt, whatever, and just like 5 pairs of earrings and matching eyeliner. That would be my thing. And I could even just change my eyeliner color and my ring or my earrings for dinner or whatever, and it would look like a new outfit. So yeah, accessories is the way to go. Yeah,
excellent, really nice. So the perspex, is that a reclaimed product?
Yeah. So it's although it doesn't, I have to say, it doesn't sit that comfy with me in the long term. So it came about because of so I don't know if people will know what a laser cutter is. So it's a machine that takes a drawing, translates the drawing into cutting, and it cuts. It's like a little robot, and so it's used to cut perspex and timber, and predominantly perspex and timber, maybe cardboard, but very fine timber. And I work in the design sector, and there was somebody in our building who was having some items made, and I saw their drawing, and I was like, there's so much on that drawing that's just waste. So how can I fill in all those blanks, if you like, all the bits that will be left in between the components that you're making? So if you think about the negative space that was in their design, how could I fill those in, and like, can I do that? And so that's what I did. I kind of took their drawing, and I literally filled every millimeter of blank space, and from that got my first collection of perspex jewellery. And I'm trying to think what you've got. You've got the hoops, haven't you?
Got the hoops, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll show you the orange because they'll probably show up more, but we've got
great on there.
Red, I don't know.
You've got some great that goes with the orange, haven't you? Yeah, they're great for Christmas, the red ones, because they're translucent.
Translucent, harder to show on the video, but.
So I have a necklace that is 2 circles as well, and they sit inside those circles. So literally, even my jewelry, there's no waste in it, if you like. So kind of like the big hoops of the earrings, the next circle that sits inside it is the biggest one from the necklace, and then the next one inside that is the smallest one from the necklace. And I do rings, and the bit that comes out of there gets made into stud earrings or cufflinks. So it literally was, I was taking the space that they had available, and then I was filling it and making sure I didn't make more waste. So And so I've got a batch, quite a large batch of various colours left, but I don't think, even though it's really popular and I really like it, I don't think I'm going to buy Perspex to do it. That makes sense.
No, it doesn't make sense in the theme of what you're all about.
Why would I go buy plastic? Yeah.
Exactly. Well, we'll make the most of it while we still get it.
Yeah. And you chose my favourite colours, actually, because I think there's about 6 colours, and yeah, you've chosen my favourite colours, the grey and the orange and the blue.
Yeah. Thank you. Sue here saying I love the orange ones. Yeah, it's been a good season for orange. I think we've all been enjoying that as a little pop of colour.
To brighten it up, yeah. And it's a lovely autumnal colour, isn't it, as well? Yeah.
It is, yeah. So we're going to keep chatting. I just thought I might say I did promise to disclose that there's going to be a discount on the collection just through our website at Kings Road Fashions. You can go onto shop, you can search for by brand, so look up factory, floor, jewels. I'll share a link in a minute. I'll grab a link and pop it in there so you can go straight to the shop. The code, which is valid for 24 hours, is simply factory. Keep it nice and simple. So if you want to order anything that's online, then you can put that into checkout and add the code factory and you'll get 10% off. Kate and I have had a chat. She has a little bit of stock of some of the things we have. So if it's shown as out of stock or you've missed it, then there's a little button, I think, on the page that says, I'm interested in this product. So just send me an email and note that you're on the live and you want it, but it's gone. And then we'll check with Kate and see if she's got it and she'll send it down. So I'll pop that link in a second. Is there anything about the current collection that you think we should highlight? Or I know you've been working on some new stuff as well, haven't you? Which is a bit of a exclusive reveal.
Yeah. Okay, so I'll talk about the new stuff, some stuff that I've got at the moment. Maybe your watchers can tell you if they like it, and then we can talk about it. And it's because I haven't actually, no other retailers have got this. I was going to launch it at a trade fair, and they all got cancelled this year. So it's based on the Perspex. It is Perspex, but look, and I hope it shows up. It's kind of iridescent, translucent. It's really hard to photograph. Can you see the different colours it's picking up there?
You can just see it almost picking up the rainbow colours.
Oh, there, bit of pink. Do you get a bit of pink? So they're the oblongs, which are the same size as what you have in store, and then these are actually Mars. They're based on Mars, so they're little planets. And they are, I'll just show you the length. So they're quite similar length to the oblongs in terms of, maybe you can see the colours there. Yeah. So they're available. And they're not on my site, so I'm not doing anything to, they're not anywhere at the minute other than here in this live.
You see it here first.
And then something that I think is for the new year, I talked about the factories that I go to. So most of them are engineering workshops. And the social enterprise I'm involved in, full disclosure, it is something to do with me. But we have Linda likes the Mars one, so we have a workshop, but it's a wood workshop. And we teach people in the communities that we work with how to make things using wood. And that's part of that thing about how making is a really good for your soul thing. So we don't talk about trying to teach people to be joiners. We talk about trying to help people feel better about themselves and increase their self-confidence and things like that. And we find that the process of designing and making something can do that for people. And so, yeah, we're very good at not having waste. We fill all the gaps. And we heat the workshop by burning wood as well. So there's hardly any waste, but the guys were like, well, we're going to order a skip. And I was like, well, what do we put in a skip? Because we don't have any waste. And the plywood that they use, so that's what plywood looks like. Some of it has laminate on it. So the kind of thing that your desks are made of, or your kitchen worktops, etc. And you can't burn that. And so there was all these small pieces of laminate. And so it was a whole new experience for me. I've gone in at the weekends and I've started learning how to use the woodworking machines, which I hadn't done before. And I started to make what I think are quite interesting shapes with laminate and plywood, and playing with kind of bars that might be on like black cords, or I'm playing with mixing and matching colors and lengths and sort of stringing things. But essentially it will all come from the waste that's there. I even, this is extreme tooling for me, I even made little rings out of some of the hardwood that was there. So yeah, just playing with all of things. And my aim is to produce a wooden range, which people might think is odd for my look, but it's still, you know, it's the same ethos. It's the taking things that would otherwise be waste from manufacturing. And so I'm hoping to launch that in January.
Ooh. So hands up if you want us to have that as soon as that's ready to go. I think that's going to be good. I really like that. I like natural materials as well. You know, I think they've just got something that sort of reaches out to your heart. I think, you know, and you know, I love wood around my home. Yeah, so why not use it as jewelry?
And also, look, I mean, look at that one and the grain, that one and the grain on it, and then this one and the grain on it. They're all completely different. And also because I'm hand making them, they're not, these aren't being laser cut, these are being handmade by me, so they're all going to be very slightly different as well. The holes I'm using, you know, 3 different sizes of tool to do, so they'll be small, medium and large, and they'll be consistent, but the shapes and the grains will all be completely different, which is a real treat, isn't it?
Yeah. There's a lot of comments about it's amazing, you know, no waste, the ethos. Yeah, I think it's absolutely brilliant what you're doing.
Fab.
And we love the product, but the story, the ethos behind it as well. It's really important to us, and it's interesting to hear.
Yeah, and I think also sort of as the wearer, having that as well, being able to tell people, okay, so I don't know, if I can't see the comments, so this is really one of those weird things about some software, isn't it? But this, yeah, well, I'm pretty convinced no one will guess what this is, but if anyone wants to have a guess what these items were originally, go for it. Let's just see. You'll have to tell me, Joe, if anyone's saying
I'll tell you. They're all probably just racking their brain for a minute.
And we'll come back to that.
So they're steel rods, we know that much, but where they might have come from.
Right, yeah. Okay, so I don't know. Well, I saw one of my friends on here, so you're not allowed to say, Kaz. But but I'm from Liverpool, and it's a very Liverpool thing. But it's not an exclusively Liverpool thing. So, and I don't want to be gender specific about it, but you might not have played with this, but your husbands might have played with it. Your kids probably won't have played with steel versions of it, but any clues?
Someone's saying part of a boat?
No. It's part of something that was made in Liverpool. Ask me another question and we'll come back to that later.
Okay. Bonus. Bonus. Or Meccano. Someone's saying Meccano.
It's Meccano.
Ah, Katey.
So this, they were individually, they are the axle rods from the kind of wheels that were put on trucks and stuff in the Meccano kits. Yeah. And they come in all sorts of different lengths. They come in tiny lengths. I make rings and earrings out of the little ones. I make drop earrings out of the tiny ones, and then I make rings in this. Yeah. But I like, again, it's kind of like, you know, the one I'm wearing is slightly different to the one you've got in the shop. Again, it's a unique, historic, you know, sort of, I could polish them to death and they'd look really shiny and lovely, but that's not, you know, I kind of like to work with what's there and appreciate the life they've lived, if that makes sense. Yeah.
I like the sort of patina you get on it. The irregularity is really nice. It's what attracted me.
Yeah. And that's what we were talking about, the story, weren't we? And how it's interesting that, like, as the wearer, you've got that story. So imagine kind of like everyone's been looking at that all night while you're at dinner or something, and then you can come out and tell them what it is. It's kind of, yeah. And this, which you sell, the circlips range. Yeah. So years ago, I was in a construction meeting, It wasn't this design, but it was a necklace that I'd made using circlips, and I was the only woman in the meeting, and I was talking, and this guy had been kind of giving me strange looks all through the meeting, and it was really annoying me. And then at one point whilst I was talking, he just went, "Are those circlips that you're wearing around your neck?" And I just went, "Yes. And what do you think about what I've just told you?" It was kind of like, yes, of course they're circlips, and that's completely normal that I should be doing that. Yeah, so it's interesting that you'll get men looking at your jewelry as well as women looking at your jewelry for completely different reasons. Yeah.
So just reading the comment, I missed it. Is Meccano from Liverpool? Kaz is saying.
Yes. So, oh my God, Kaz, you to know that, Kaz. So Meccano was originated in Liverpool, yeah, in a road called Binns Road. The factory is really, yeah, it's very well known in folklore. The factory's not there anymore, but Binns Road, whenever you say that in Liverpool, people are like, "Oh, wow, Meccano factory." It's made in France now, and it's made from plastic, but historically, that's where it came from. Yeah.
Got it. So it's brilliant. And so talented. Love everything. Really positive comments. Everybody's been so complimentary.
Wow, a girl could have a lovely evening doing this.
It's really nice.
It's my first time doing a live as well, and I was like, terrified. But it's really sweet that people like it and that people are interested in it.
Your stride as well.
Say again?
Really taking it in your stride.
Oh, thank you. Live. Thank you.
It's easy, I think, when, as you say, when you're talking about what you know, what you love, the story.
Yeah, the passionate sort of thing about it is way easier to talk about than kind of, yeah. It's why I'm not the market girl. It's why I'm not the kind of like, "Oh, do you like it? Do you want to buy it?" I'm not, that's not me. I enjoy making it, and I love seeing people wearing it though. So I love working with people like you who are, sort of selling it to people, and your gorgeous clothes that you sell, which we were talking about earlier before we came live. Oh gosh, whenever I watch,
isn't it? Getting into a nice shop and then sort of being introduced to all the other things.
Yes, yeah. I'm really glad that you're a long way away from my house. When I'll tell you, when I got it into, so I sell my jewelry in the Tate Modern and Tate Britain, and I can remember, because like so many people, I have this massive imposter syndrome thing. So I think, even though I was selling to a handful of independent shops, I think I still didn't really believe it was for real. I still, will criticize myself for everything or not feel confident in promoting it. But when I arrived in the Tate, when the Tate bought it, the story is when the Tate came to see me at a trade fair, I wrote all the details down, and I went away. And that night I was like, "Oh, the Tate came." And I didn't follow it up because I was kind of like, "No, they're the Tate. I can't get in touch with them. And if they, if they want it, they'll get in touch." And so I just would never have followed it up. And then they did get in touch 6 months later and said, "We want to place an order." And I went to see it. They said, I was in London, and they were like, "Yeah, it will be in the shop by now." And I walked into the shop at Tate Modern, and when it was, it was all on display, and I nearly passed out. I was just kind of like, I can't believe I've just seen my jewelry displayed that beautifully, and you display it so beautifully, and that's why I was kind of sharing that on social media the other day, because it's just so lovely to see it, if you like, in its rightful home, as opposed to in boxes in my back bedroom. Sort of on display, surrounded by other beautiful things, where people can really appreciate it with great lighting, and they can go and see it and choose to buy it for themselves or for other people, and that just makes me so happy. And when I do in Liverpool occasionally just see people I don't know wearing it, and that's always like, "Oh, it's amazing." Yeah, so that's cool.
It's part of the satisfaction we always find. I think it's it's you go out and you're excited by looking for the product that you think your customer might like, and when you find something you think your customer might like, you get really excited, and and then you almost come back and you're like, "It's not going to be here for X amount of weeks or X amount of months," and you're like, "Oh, I want to tell you all about it," and then finally it comes, and then the customers that you think are going to like it really like it, and then you get that. It's really satisfying, to bring that much joy to people. Pat's quote's just saying, "Just proves you have to follow your dreams." It's what drives you, isn't it? It's just that passion.
I was talking to one of my team tonight. Telling her that I was doing this, and she was just like, "Oh, it's so amazing!" And I just wish. And she's really young. I hope she's watching, or I hope she's not watching. I don't know what I'm talking about her, but she's really young, and she was like, oh, "I wish I could do something that creative." And I was like, I was in my 40s when I started doing this, so and I was always somebody that didn't think I was that creative, even though I've always worked in the creative sector. I didn't think I was that creative, and yeah, this thing that it literally just came from me. Like, obviously it was a very long, slow burn to get to be in my 40s before I decided to do this, but at the moment I decided I was doing it, it kind of came out really, really fast, and kind of, yeah. And the brand was really important to me, because the brand is my story of my dad and me, and so almost determining the brand before I started creating my first pieces was something that was quite a labour of love as well. So it was not just going to be it wasn't just going to be a tinkering thing. It was going to be a real thing with a story. Yeah.
Well, it's been really lovely to hear your story.
Oh,
actually, it's been good for me, because there was, I probably didn't know enough. I think I remember typing the word swarf and thinking, swarf. So we met at a trade show, and we did have a little chat and stuff, but unbelievably, the first order of your jewelry came in about a week or 2 weeks before we went into the second lockdown.
Yeah.
So timing.
But as I say, I think you've just mastered the internet during lockdown. I don't know if you did you do much before?
No, we basically, we didn't even really we had a website, but not an e-commerce website until the first lockdown, and literally that was built on on the back of that. And then I'd missed the connection, so I think that's when I started doing the videos and a few lives and stuff, and it was stepping out of my comfort zone, I can tell you, when I first started doing that.
Yeah.
But then people said, "Oh, I really like the videos," and then I was like, "Oh no, I've got to do some more." So so everybody's encouragement sort of pushed me on, and now, yeah, I've got a horrible feeling that nobody's going to let me stop.
No, you're there forever doing it.
It's a lovely comment here from Julia. You're both so passionate about your businesses and are very inspirational. Thank you, Julia. It's lovely to hear. And Kaz says it's so inspiring and lovely to hear. Yeah, beautiful. Well, I hope we have inspired you all tonight. Have you got anything else you want to say, Kate, before we wrap up?
So I think I just wanted to share some of those little processes, talk about the materials and stuff, and and just nice to see you and be part of your shop for a little bit. Yeah.
Be nice to chat. Kate's had a glass of wine on the side, which she hasn't even dared take a sip of. So yes, it's been a nice little social event. Kaz is saying thanks for sharing how you've both been coping. Yeah, and what next?
Yeah, what next? I imagine you've got a busy few weeks ahead of you in your shop.
I hope so. Pat's saying next thing, Joe. No, next thing will be modelling the jewellery as well as the clothes, Joe. Yeah, that's a really good point, actually, Pat. Try and get a bit of close-up stuff. If we can do it in 2 meters away. Yeah, the thing is, I can't model the earrings. Otherwise, I'd have to have a pair of all of them.
Yeah, well, isn't it? Yeah.
So I have to be, it's trying to get the. Yeah, I'll have to think about that. I'm quite happy to have a pair of all of them, to be honest. But
there's a little gadget, and I don't know what they're called, but I always used to use it in markets. So imagine this is perspex. So it's like clear perspex, and it just has a hole and also a slot, and so you can hold the earrings up to you like that. But this is so cool. Yeah.
Oh, I'll look out for one of those.
Have a look. I'll see if I can work out what they're called and send you a link. Yeah.
Excellent. That'd be brilliant. Okay, so so a reminder that we've got the 10% off with the code FACTORY, if you missed that earlier, for the next 24 hours, so until about 8:30 tomorrow evening, on my website only. And the prize draw, thank you so much for everybody who's been on. It's been incredible. We've had loads of people on tonight and lots of comments. I will write down all your names and fold them up on a traditional old-fashioned piece of paper, I think, and get someone to draw a name out of the hat. So if you don't mind, I'll probably do that tomorrow and do the announcement tomorrow.
Cool.
So thank you for joining me, Kate.
Fab, thank you for having me on. And yeah, good luck in the next few weeks. And maybe I'll come back in January and show you the new collection.
Yeah, maybe you'll have to visit to bring the next collection out. I was thinking, no way.
I'll send you a list of my clothing try on.
Yeah, that'd be brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Right, lovely. Right, we're signing off. Thanks for joining, everyone.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.